Okay, so in order to get a proper clutch back in this car, I have to get this guy out of there because it has no nipple for the master cylinder. So I asked Rob to see if they had one of those, and he went ahead and sent me the whole freaking thing. I mean, he's like, well, we'll just take the whole thing. And I'm like, all right, but I don't think I need to install the whole thing unless this part does not come off on its own. So let's see if I can take this part off by itself. Okay, looks like it's gonna come out with that guy. Should be able to just pull it out. So what I'm gonna have to do is I gotta drain that guy, turkey baster it or something to get all the fluid out of it. So it's about at this level, so that I don't have to bleed the brakes all over. I might have to bleed the brakes if it gets under this level. So we'll see what I can do about getting that fluid out of there. Okay, loose over there. Wow, okay, it's a pin. So it should just come right up. Let's see how much of a mess I make. I might need both hands for this guy. Okay, got it off. So that's what the bottom of that looks like. The only issue I see in the future is electrical, some kind of lights going off because of the missing connector here, because the new one does not have that. But this thing has ABS lights and everything, which again I can figure out later on. Now that I know this comes out pretty easy, I want to actually leave this in there. That's what it looks like. So I'm hoping to be able to put that guy in and not have to bleed the brakes. Fingers crossed. We'll see. Let's put the manual one on, because the manual one has the nipple for the master cylinder on the clutch. Well, improvising. That bolt did not want to cooperate, and I really don't want to risk breaking that plastic. So I just undid it from there. Gonna go ahead and do that. The other issue I'm having is this line is not coming off easily. Gotta bleed the brakes anyway, but this line's not coming off easily, so I'm gonna unbolt it from there. Take it out here because I'm struggling to get it out of there. Seems to be really stuck. Then I'll just replace everything as an assembly. Okay, well, instead of just fighting that line in the car, I took it out of the car, and it required a lot of force to get it out. So now this is the auto one. I reassembled it. If anything, you're learning if when you're working on this stuff. So I just went ahead and reinstalled this guy back in there, because this guy does not want to come out at all. And as you can tell, they look the same here, but when you flip them, this guy has a missing connector. Actually, it looks like it's just, I wonder if that just, look at that, I think that just comes out. Let me see if this guy comes out. Boy, you learn something new every day. Cool, okay, well, good to know. Learn something new every day. So, looks like I'm in the clear when it comes to the electrical connections, and I'll keep this guy as an auto one. Let's go ahead and install this guy. Alrighty, I got me a nipple. So what I'm gonna have to do is route the line through there, because this guy, this is the manual one, and there's the line, and that line has to get pinched into that nipple. So let's get in here and start messing around with that. Alrighty guys, she's sporting 3 pedals again, just to show you what needed to happen. I needed to get to those bolts up there, those 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure that the brake master fit on this deal here. I had to snake the line. I'll show you. Here, the line is snaked here, and as you can see, the line for the clutch slave is down there. Let me see if I can zoom in. Come on, baby. There you go. Right there. So everything fits just like stock. Beautiful. So, you know, I mean, just like stock. It is stock. But I think this is a 14. I'm sorry, like an earlier unit. you know, it's an earlier unit, but what are you gonna do? So I had to get these bolt in, these 4 bolt in. Pain in the butt, sorry about the angle. Pain in the butt to get those 4 bolt in. And then 2 up top. 2 way up top, those 2. Then I have to make sure that this guy fits in this hole here. Let me go ahead and put that on because I need 2 hands. Just like that, so that the brake, this is how the brake pedal actually, dang it, trying to get a good light in there. That's how the brake pedal works. There you go, when you hit the brake, lights turn on. When you're off the brake, lights turn on. There's a little plunger in there. I gotta work on the clutch stuff because I gotta figure out what goes wrong. But again, thank you to the parts farm. We are making... Okay, there you have it, a quick little video. I have a shifter in hand and I have the clutch line that is yet to go on, so be on the lookout for that. I just want to give you a quick little update showing you how much work it was to actually put a nipple for the clutch line to work like stock in there, not cut and dry. Got a shifter, drive shaft's coming, so I'll get you. Okay, back at it with the GT500. I got a mess here, which seems like day 1000 of me working on the car. Got everything pretty much buttoned up here. So just gonna go ahead and install the drive shaft that just got here. Mr. John Lund Sr. was nice enough to have PST, I think, up in Clearwater, resize the drive shaft. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you that. It's the one that was in the car previously with the Turbo 400, but now we resized it for the T56. Got the proper slip yoke for it from Strange, so I'll get that together and get it in the car. PK sent me a little package, so I'll show you what that is. Oh, look at that. We got myself a ARP Coyote crank bolt. Very nice of him for a balancer bolt ARP. He just sent me this because I helped him out with Joe Goodenough tuning some older stuff, 3-valve, 2-valve stuff, because he has a lot of customers. So he said, can I send you something? I said, sure. And then he sent me that, and he sent me an oil filter, a little Ford Racing oil filter action for this car. And it's funny because, hold on, it's kind of funny. It's fitting for Shelby stuff. It says Ford Racing on it, which is pretty funny. But thank you. Look at that. Blue, the whole 9 yards. That's badass. I'll definitely be using that when I use the final oil, which is the FR50. Right now it has BR40 in it, so no need to change that up. So let's get this drive shaft in the car. There it is. There's the drive shaft. If you're wondering what it is, it's the one that was in this car, and I believe it was made out of chrome moly. Got a little bit of balancing weights here. Obviously this bolts right into the yoke on the rear end. I'll show you that, and then I'll show you me putting on the slip yoke, the Strange slip yoke on that. Then I'll put it in the car, and that'll be the project for the day. I'm not really looking to get too dirty on a Wednesday. I usually work on this car on the weekend when I have more time. So let's go ahead and get this guy taken care of. I gotta clean up that wiring. Here you are. Take this guy out of here. Yoink. Alright. Should have fluid in it already. Yeah, it looks like the fluid made its way in there. Alright, let's get it on the drive shaft. Okay, she's in. Got the guy in there. So let's get this guy in the car now, and hopefully that'll be, well, it's gonna need a drive shaft loop eventually, so I'm gonna have to eventually probably take it out again, but let's go ahead, get it in there, so at least I can, you know, get moving forward on the project. So yeah, it's pretty heavy. It's chrome moly stuff, so it's a badass drive shaft, so hopefully it'll hold up to some strong launches. Okay, looks like it's in. And how much stick out do I have? I don't think I have much stick out at all on this guy. So it looks like my measurements are pretty close. It's probably 75% in the bitch. So basically that's bottomed out. That little line is bottomed out, and then got about that much, almost maybe 3/8 of an inch sticking out. So it's like 80% in. It's in there. So let's tighten the straps up and get this guy done, and then I can go home and chill out, because it's not a big deal, but you know, it's just another step of getting the car on the ground. Okay, so after installing the drive shaft, I said why not install the exhaust. So I installed the H pipe and over the axle pipes, so this guy should be ready to go on the ground. I got to clean up some wiring down here, but all in all, I'm very happy. We're that much closer to getting it started and on the ground. Okay, I know what you're gonna say. I said I would never buy one of these, but honestly, after looking all over the market, nothing really had any adjustability, and I like being able to turn this guy in if I want a slightly tighter pattern. So the throws are pretty short. Reverse is gonna be interesting because this sucker does not want to go in reverse, so I got to figure out if that solenoid has to be active or something. So I'll talk to Ben about that. But yeah, I know I said I would never buy one, but I did. I would just won't mention the brand. You guys know what it is, but you know, I'm not going to give anybody rep. I paid for it. So seems to be in. Clutch is in. Clutch line is in. Just updating as much as I can. But this was not easy to put in. There was a lot of trimming I had to do on the inside, move some metal around, but at the end of the day, it's in. So just one more step in the process of bringing this thing back to being a... Okay, back at it on the GT500. So I got the line hooked up on that nipple, which I had to replace the master cylinder due to that. And I got this part from the parts farm. I got brake fluid in it, so it's ready to... Oh, that is kind of dirty. Jesus, Alex. There we go. I got totally clean, totally clean fluid in there. So the reason I haven't bled the clutch yet or pumped away at it is because down here, that clip, I couldn't find anywhere. So I put out a little call to action with people that I knew, and I'm like, does anyone know where I can find this little tiny retaining clip that goes in that slot that holds the line in place? Let's see if I can show you the little slot. There we go. See right there? That guy. I could not find that retaining clip, but thank goodness that one of the guys that follows me was nice enough. Actually, his name is Witt SVT. You'll see him on the chat. Bryson Witt SVT. Bam! I guess when he was doing his transmission stuff, he had an extra one. So I'm gonna get this guy hopefully installed without dropping it and losing it forever. But you cannot find these anywhere. I know that looks like a familiar part, but I swear to Christ, I could not find it anywhere. So let me get it installed and then pump away about 100 pumps and see if we can get the clutch bled and get the slave cylinder working. I think I got it in there. There you go. See, it's cinched in there. So hopefully that line doesn't come off. Really, motherfucker? I like how people drive around with their windows down like I want to hear this shit-ass music. Okay. Get the two-step back in there because the two-step had to be removed from its little mounting bracket. In case you guys didn't know, this car does have a two-step right here, and that's the two-step. So get this guy bolted back in there and start pumping my life away. Okay, time to start pumping. Hopefully I get some kind of pedal feel in about 200 pumps or so. Oh, we're getting there. Oh, we're getting there. Come on, baby. Give it to me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go. Yep, got some pedal. There we go. Got some pedal action. Okay. So it looks like got it bled. I make sure that there are no leaks. If there are no leaks, then that should pretty much do it for the pedal situation. I'll get underneath, make sure everything's nice and snug. But yeah, looking like got some good stiff pedal action right there. Very nice. So let's make sure there are no leaks. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm pressurizing the fuel system. I have a battery pack hooked up to the battery, and what I'm doing is with the key on in the ignition, I'm basically purging the system by actually cycling it forward. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm checking for any potential leaks. So I'm pressurizing everything, and then I'm gonna look through the rails to make sure everything looks good. The gauge is holding about 40 PSI. Oh, sorry, 35. When I kick it on, it goes to 40 something. So as long as there's pressure in the line, I can look through all the rails and make sure there are no leaks. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And if everything looks good, I'll do the same thing to the intercooler system. This guy's obviously a little low because it's only got 10 volts. But I'm listening for any leaks and looking for any leaks. So once I do that and verify that, I'll do the same exact thing to the intercooler system, add water, figure out which wires turn it on, and then do that. I also have a battery charging down here, so I don't have to do it with the jump pack all the time. So once I get that guy figured out, fuel system, make sure it's pressurized, move on to the intercooler system, and then we can try to turn the thing on. Okay, with the wiring, I kind of got some stuff figured out. So this is the line lock. As you can hear it click, you hear the solenoid clicking, and if you ground this guy lights up. So I'm thinking that this is all having to do with the line lock. Okay, so that's the line lock. Good. Okay, got the intercooler system primed, so I got to see if there's any leaks up front. Figured out which wires went to the intercooler. So I got to see, because it's airbound, I'm sure, I got to just basically check for leaks in the intercooler system. So it's got to fill everything up. It's got to fill literally everything up. So it might take a while for me to be able to make it circulate, but it's obviously intermittent right now. So let me see what I can do to keep it running full time. Alrighty, beautiful. So looks like it's circulating. Let's go check for leaks, because the last thing I need is leaks. That thing draws a lot of battery. Oh yeah, she's flowing good. No leaks yet. It's very nice. Still has to flow through the intercooler. I can hear it flowing through here. Actually, you can literally hear it. Right here. No leaks. There's a water pump leak, but I'll address that later. I think the O-ring is kinked on it. Okay. Beautiful. So we pressurize. Let me know when it's key on. Contact. All right, so there you go. The car started right up. Everything went really well. I used a remote starter because I still have to wire up the clutch neutral safety switch, but after it's all said and done, I think it'll be pretty straightforward. But the car ended up starting first try, so now tomorrow I'll work on getting verifying oil pressure, verifying fuel trims, get a data logger up there, and make sure that the tune is doing good, the intercooler is flowing fluid, keeping everything good, and that the fans are working properly. Thanks for listening, guys. Talk to you later.